Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Win and End podcast. I am your host, Eric Dauernheim, and today we are joined by a good old familiar guest, the man behind Sneep itself, Gabe Hohenstein. Or Hohenstein.
Howdy, howdy, what's up? Good to be back in the seat, the
Yeah,
driver's
you're
seat, I
here, you're
should say.
back. The traditional duo back at it again.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone
good
else is
times.
doing some play testing right now, so here we are, the chums on the block, just gonna talk your ear off now.
Oh, it's gonna
Well,
be a
we
great
got a
day.
little bit to talk about. Not too much happened in between the Pro Tour and this week, but we did get some new cards that came out with this new Dynasty set that's coming out November 11th. We got a bit of spoilers. Is there any particular card you want to talk about first, Gabe?
I don't know. So out of the spoiler cards, so okay, yeah, I guess there's a lot to talk about with the spoilers. Actually, I have to go pull up that list of the cards because I knew we were gonna talk about it, but I wasn't prepared like usual. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So out of because the three cards that we're talking about is that Horn, Crown of Dominion, and then the Emperor,
Sure, yeah,
correct?
yeah. And then there is
Just
a
because I
gold
can.
token. I think we all expected what the gold token would be like, and it is exactly pay to draw a card. So not
Right.
much there.
I think the thing I'm most excited for is Crown of Dominion. Not because it's another cool crown. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen Thor Ragnarok.
Mm,
Like his sister or
yeah.
whatever has that crown. I
Oh,
swear to
yeah.
God. It might not be
What's her name
Ragnarok,
that
but whatever
plays
Thor
that
it is.
character? She's hot.
Um, yeah, I don't remember her name, but she is. I swear to God, identical. Um,
Kate
actually,
Blanchett.
though, what I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's her. That's the man, the myth, the legend, the woman. Um, what I'm really excited about is that there's going to be Marvel versions of the legendaries, so we can finally have our equipment even shinier than they once
Yeah,
were.
that'd be interesting. This would be the first Marvel Legendary. I mean, we've had the Marvel Dragons, which the majestic ones kind of felt like they were already kind of at a legendary status being
Oh,
Marvel.
totally.
So it'll probably be about the same drop rate on them as far as like the chance to grab it. But yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think that's gonna like put a high market value for them, or are we just expected to see
I would hope
something
so.
similar to the Dragons?
I mean, I would imagine it's going to go that same pace with the dragons, where it all starts off as people have them. Because so, I being a legendary, I bet it'll be a little rarer than those legendary dragons. But I bet after a couple weeks of once they're on the market and people start to realize like this is a jam, they're just gonna get the price will go up exponentially. Um, but I guess my only one train of thought that veers the other way is since a lot of those dragons, you play three of those in your deck, where you only need one of these.
Oh yeah, well those
So you,
Marvel Dragons is just a one of, so it kind of falls in their
well, the
yeah
Marvel ones, yeah. It's my apologies. I was thinking like
yeah.
the rare dragons, but they're still the still Marvel versions of those rare
Hmm.
dragons. That's what I meant. So I
Yeah,
guess
no,
I
it's all
misspoke.
good. But I think we
What do
both
you think?
misspoke because you know what? I don't. We didn't even cover what this card is. It's called the Crown of Dominion. Generic equipment, so anyone can wear it. Obviously, the head and the special ability is it makes your hero royal. You can have a royal hero, a
Sick.
royal. What is it? What's that Pulp Fiction line? Che-
See, I don't know where
Cheeseburger
you
Royale
were
or
gonna go
whatever.
for. Yeah, yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
about right. Um, what I think would be sweet if down the line they came out with an assassin hero, and then we could be a royal assassin
oh
in
yeah,
case
yeah,
something
that'd be
happens.
dope. I mean, yeah, any you put this helmet or this crown on anyone, they become royal. So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean like that cool magic
it's
cards like that.
interesting. It seems like you're probably not wearing it if you're playing the Emperor because he's already royal. It does give you a gold token when you equip it, so it is you do have a free draw card for later. But
But
yeah,
so with that being said, you get that free draw card for later. Do you think there'd ever be like a guardian deck that would want that incremental value?
it would have to be Bravo just because Crown of Seeds is so big in Oldham, so I don't imagine this would
Mm-hmm.
replace that. But maybe Bravo wouldn't mind having a bit of a draw card. I don't know. It's actually pretty interesting. Right now, I can't think of a hero that would want to. Maybe Wizard, making a Royal Wizard. But Ragamuffin Hat is just
Sweet.
so good there too. So it's very hard to find a spot for this card as of now.
Okay, so then there has to be something more about the royal mechanic which makes
All
it
right. I don't know
worthwhile,
if you're
I would
setting me
imagine.
up or you generally curious, but that's a great transition to one of the next spoilers for Imperial Warhorn. Uh, it's a item. It's our first legendary item, so we can only have one. It costs two. It pitches as a red. Action: pay one resource, destroy it. Choose any number of heroes. Each of them chooses an ally, aura, item, or landmark permanent they control, and then destroy each permanent chosen this way. If you are royal, you instead choose the permanents. So there is one benefit of having the head crown to make you royal. So I'm going to try to say royal as many times on this podcast. But yeah, so there's one bit. It seems like there is probably going to be more cards like that that's printed to kind of really give value to this crown of Dominion.
hmm One toot, you go kaboot. No, I agree completely. I'm really excited to see because did you see how many majestics and legendaries are in this set?
Uh, yeah,
So
I
I
think
really
there's
feel
what, five
go for it.
legendaries.
Yeah, they like upped it compared to the last couple of supplementals. So I'm really hoping they really dive into this royal mechanic and make it accessible.
All right, you are killing it with the transitions because we'll talk about the legendaries and how the Emperor is a legendary. So he's gonna fall along the same lines of as Shiana, which I don't know. I personally think he's going to be a, a well played hero in Blitz. I think there's going to be a lot of deck building to him that's going to be able to have him come out and just like have a presence immediately. Where Shiana maybe
hmm
not so much, but the thing him being legendary, that could be hard for people to be able to obtain this hero. So it's interesting on that.
Oh, totally. So my thought with him being legendary, and we just saw we have a legendary Marvel card. Do you think there'll be a Marvel version of him?
I think there's a good chance. Um, Now here's a thought. So I want to say first off on that, yeah, there's definitely a good chance. We saw the Marvel Starvo. We're going to see
hmm
something similar like that, and I think that's how it's probably going to be going forward with each set coming out. We're going to have some sort of Marvel hero. I think Icelander was an uprising, so we'll get something like that going on. But here's a question, or here's a thought. It kind of sucks that we're not going to be able to get a Marvel Command and Conquer here. Just yeah,
Ooh.
because so if Command and Conquer does get reprinted, which my prediction is it will, it cannot be foil because it was already printed originally in Arcane Rising. And
hmm
the thought process is, or what James White has said is that each time the card is reprinted, it will not be as like beautiful as its first printing. So you know the second printing of it was in white border. If it did get printed again, I gotta imagine it just cannot be foil. But
hmm
yeah, it's
Ooh, that is. I didn't even think of
I
that.
know
That
it's
makes so
kind of a
sad.
bummer. A Marvel CNC would actually be amazing. So maybe he'll break that rule and maybe we can get that. That'd be pretty cool.
hmm I have a slight idea that they could kind of work around it. Do you think they'd make it kind of like a Marvel version of CNC as like a judge promo or some kind of like say the next ProQuest season or anything like that, where that could be the top prize is this
I
alternate
mean,
art?
yeah, it's certainly not out of range. Yeah, we will have to see when the time comes for sure. But yeah, I mean, they're in control. They can do what they please.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
captain.
All right, yeah. So that was kind of the biggest thing I think that really happened. Right now, we got a lot of battle hardened events and even some road to national events going on right now to really help shape the
hmm
new meta. Now that Prism is gone, there's a lot of talk about Briar after national season being uh, reaching the legendary status or living legend status and moving on. What's your thoughts?
So I guess I have a couple of
Okay.
thoughts. Number one, I'm pretty positive, without a doubt, it'll be done after nationals since there's so many nationals going on. So there'll be so many living legends points to give out. My second thought is it annoys me a little bit because I love praying Briar. Like it's just such a sweet deck. And then I just don't know how LSS is gonna. If they're banning all these heroes, they genuinely need to start coming out with the new heroes that replace that. So like the Rune Blade that can use Earth and Lightning or something of that nature.
Yeah, that's I mean, and maybe we're gonna see something in Dynasty. Maybe we will see some sort of Shadow Rune Blade to replace Chain. And then maybe the next set we'll get some sort of light illusionist. Who knows? I have no
Hmm.
idea how they plan on doing this, but I think that is pretty pivotal on how this living legend system works. Is how quickly we can have heroes to replace.
Yeah, so I got like bouncing off of what you just said with that Shadow Blade. I have an idea that could work into that. I don't know if you've seen the art of that other hero that was kind of spoiled. We don't know if it's a hero, but it looks like a
Hmm.
hero, and he looks like a guardian. He could be replacing Starvo, which was the first hero to go in the
Yeah, that
Legend
was
set.
my original thought as well. Now I was hesitant on that as far as like if he was
Hmm.
replacing Starvo, just because I figured, well, there's already a elemental guardian as an Oldham, so maybe they didn't have to replace him. But as you're saying, if this is a replacement for Starvo, then it would show that they are trying to at the next set because they probably already had made Uprising by the time Starvo LL'd. At the next possible set, they will bring in a hero to replace. And if that's so, then we are seeing another elemental guardian, which will be very interesting.
Would be very sweet.
Um, but yeah, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
to keep on this track of Dynasty and where we're at, I'm gonna hear us a little bit. That's cool. So we're talking about the Emperor, and then all the cards that go with it. And like you were talking, how you think CNC will be in the set. But as of lately, there's been issues with Command and Conquers, which I don't know if people know about yet, of the Command and Conquer fakes that are out there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes. It seems that one of our own members have been duped. Now, luckily, he was refunded, but yeah, these Command and Conquer foil that he ordered, I think, came from like UK or something. So even overseas, was a fake, had fake foiling, and the edges were also a tall tale sign.
Was it first edition or unlimited? 'Cause that's the one part where his fingers covered up, and I never knew.
I'm gonna say is more likely unlimited. I don't. I think with first edition foil Command Conquer, I think like you better not be trying to mess around selling fakes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Crazy. Um, so the sellers from the UK what the seller apps say? Do we know what
I mean he
transpired or?
whoever they were just refunded Blake and then asked for the card back, which Blake's not too sure about, and I kind of agree. It's like I feel like at that point the card should be ripped, but so be it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that person bought it from someone else and they're trying to get their
It
money
could
back
be, could
as
be.
well. But yeah, agreed. I agree.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So watch out for fakes. Fakes are in every card game, but eventually they just reach all the corners. So just keep your eye. It's pretty obvious. I think we'll have a video showing how obvious it is. So right now, I think you can really tell as long as you know how the foiling works.
Hmm.
Uh,
No, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. And then I think the only other thing that I really noticed that was happening this week, it might be a bit of a short episode, but that's okay. We've had long episodes, so I think we can do a short episode. Is that more and more people have been talking about Flesh and Blood Online.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stir on Twitter about it, but I can't say I've downloaded it or even gone to the application. So I'm
Okay,
excited.
so I checked it out about a month ago when I heard about it. I was over at my parents' place. I was just visiting them, and I was like, "Well, kind of want to play some Flesh and Blood." They don't have TTS. I wouldn't install it on the computer anyway, so I was like, "I'll just go online and play some Flesh and Blood online." And it was not great in my eyes. It really wasn't. Like the user interface is just it's worse in like MTGO, it really
Oh
reminded
no.
me of like playing like a Game Boy Color. It was just so bad. Visually, just doesn't look good. It does do a pretty good job in allowing you to go through any triggers or any reactions you want to do. It does allow you to be able to control the game, but that can also get tedious in a way, especially if you have like 2 5 players going at each other. It's like, yeah, no, we don't have any defense reactions. Let's just get past that part. So I think in that aspect, it's also failing. The one good thing I think that it really does have is that it does track data, and that could be a double-edged sword. I think like Yuki Lee Bender even said that they were not super like cool with it. Like, we all understand that having an online client is nice so that you can play anywhere, anytime. And
Mhm.
having data is nice because then you can kind of start seeing, oh, Oldham has a 55% win rate into Briar. You can start really getting like the dirty, gritty numbers of it all. But at that same time, it does take, and this is what Yuki Lee was saying, it does take away from just deck building in general. One of the things that this game had was that this game allowed you to build your own deck, really master your own deck, and then come to a calling and no one even know about your deck list. And as well as you might not even know about a lot of other people deck lists. Like, the only true results we ever get are after big events or after small like skirmishes. We don't ever get armory events or anything small. But this Fab Online can change that, where we do get small events, so we do have more like data to look at and more decks to build and like deck lists to copy from. It just takes away some of that deck building reward, I guess, in a sense.
Well, yeah, because I think from that it just says net decking will now be in Flesh and Blood. We knew it was very heavy in Magic the Gathering at any
Yeah.
high level event, which there's not necessarily an issue with that. Like, it kind of steers you in the right direction. I can't say I'm for it, but I'm also not against it. I think it eliminates the progression of enjoyment and progression of discovering new decks while learning other decks. And it also, I think it hurts every single team that's out there grinding night after night, trying to find the best deck and trying to crunch their own numbers. So I think it's stealing away from a lot of things, and quite frankly, it's taken away from what James White's mission was to have an in-person game, flesh and blood, and not have an online client.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jonathan's always been saying, and I can't disagree with him, that eventually this game feels like it will be an online client at some point. Feels like,
Oh, I
yeah, it
definitely
feels
think it
like that would be
will.
hard just to keep it. And so, like, I honestly, I think this was just bound to happen at some point, and this just might be the start of it. I still just think it's called Flesh and Blood Online. You just go fleshandbloodonline.com, you can find it. I still think it's not good. I think it's what people are using for now if you just don't have TTS that you want to use. But I think this can certainly have a better client, and once a better client comes and takes it, then I think we really will see more and more like data being collected and deck lists being made and net decking happen. But I think just because of how bad it is right now, I really don't
Mm-hmm.
like it. I know that some people do like it, but I'm just not a fan. I don't think because of how bad it is right now that it's going to be able to uh, encourage net decking too much. There will be some, but not too much
Okay.
right now.
No, that's totally fair. I love the idea because I know it's a fan made project, so there's always that like admirability towards it. Like, good for them.
Hmm.
That's exciting. They're pushing steam ahead. Because like I know when we were grinding the Grand Prix for Magic, MTGO was my best friend. Like, doing those leagues night after night, just trying to grind when I had no one else to grind with was
Oh yeah,
awesome. So definitely supports
yep,
individuality
yep,
for grinding, but
yeah.
I
Like
don't
it
know.
says,
I
go ahead.
really
I'm
what
sorry.
I not tell you.
Well,
We'll
I was
cut you
just
off.
saying, like I said, it is a double edged sword because there's like good things about it, and there's just so it's like it's you're gonna have to take the good with the bad, basically.
Oh yeah. What I think could really work is, fab.db.
Yes, I think every
I
Flesh
love
and
those
Blood
guys. Like,
player. needs to know that website.
I would
Yeah,
hope so. I feel like almost every
it's
collection website
very
is on there,
closely
and I
associated with
think
that website. So,
yeah, I think they're getting so big that if they wanted to make their own
mm,
online client for it, they
yeah,
totally could. Because I saw on their Twitter the other day they hit like 500,000 decks that are registered or some crazy number. Like they're getting, I can definitely see them being the next MTG Goldfish or anything like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
where that's the next place to shop for looking at deck
It
lists.
is.
So if they could also take the Steam of the actual client, then it'd be even
Yeah,
better.
yeah. It is the Wild West over there. I'll say that though. Like you
That's
are
true.
getting
Yeah, no,
decks
you see
of
some of those decks and you're
all
scared.
places. So it is like, journey at your own risk trying to find deck lists over there. But you do get some gems here and there for sure. Um,
I just like how smooth and seamless it
it
is.
is.
Just the
It's
way
very
everything's
good.
set up. It's
It's
so
very
nice.
good. Uh, there is another resource called Felt Table, and I ran this when I was in
Hmm.
Montana.
I played that
Yeah,
before.
because it is one of those like free clients where you go against a bot, and I think it's good for like learning how to play the game. But
Hmm.
now it has even a drafting AI. It's you have to be a Patreon member, so you have to pay like $4 basically a month for it. But uh, it has a drafting user face that's very similar to like MTG arenas. So it looks very
Okay.
nice, and I think it'd be pretty damn good for the drafting mechanics. So I do think, if we want to talk about online stuff that's not TTS, I think Felt Table is. I just paid for it. They told me it'd take me like 24 hours to be able to use it, so I'll have to wait and see. And I'll report back, but I'm excited. If it is good, then I will be using this to really hone in my skills on drafting, and just to make. And then I can also like even like do videos with that one. There's just so much potential with it.
I was literally gonna bring that up. First thought went to mind was number one drafter in the United States tries new draft
I
format on
better
Felt
make
Table.
that
This is
video
his review.
immediately because it's
It's
as
going to
soon
happen.
as the
There's
Pro
no doubt
Tour
about it.
results come in.
I'll find your
Yeah, I
house.
will. As soon as the Pro Tour results come in, I am not going to be number one in the States anymore.
Yeah, so
We
we got to be
do.
quick about this. Like when this goes up tonight, you're sending it my way. It's up tomorrow morning at 2 a.m.
I
It's
might
gonna
do
have to
it. I mean,
happen.
I love the draft, so I don't.
No, I'm genuine. I think
Yeah,
it's a great
yeah.
idea.
Um,
So stay tuned if you
yeah,
want to watch
yeah,
that.
and I think I got it pretty down at this point. But it's even if you feel like you master something, it's always good to have something practiced. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, there's another resource. So you got Fail Table, you got Fab Online. Fab Online is free. I will give it that. That's freaking awesome. So I cannot complain there. And then like we mentioned before, FabDB. I think you need to make a video on all those. I think that would be a good idea, just to help
that'd be
some
fun.
help
Yeah, let
people
me write
get
that down. I
online.
like that idea.
Um, but ultimately, playing in person is where it's at for sure, and that is what our team is doing right now, and why we are talking to you on this podcast, because we are away from them. But it's so
So
sad.
sad.
But it's nice. It's nice to kind of do a podcast, me and you again. Yeah. So this has been another episode of the Win In podcast. Thanks, guys, for listening. We are slowly upticking on the people listening, so that's always exciting. So yeah, tell your friends, and if it's good, I don't know. if you're like then just keep listening. I'll be fine with that too. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Gabe for coming in for old time's sakes, and we'll see you next time. Keep on fabbing.